Wow, 2020 has been a year. COVID definitely hit the entire world for as a whole head spin. For me personally, I've had friends whose family members have passed away because of COVID, and that is very personal because they're really good friends of mine, and those family members were like family to me. So it's hit me in that regard personally. Professionally, I'm a teacher. I actually have the opportunity of teaching right back at the same middle school that I once attended, Southern Middle School, home of the Dragons. And yet, being a two percenter, so of course, diversity and representation matters as being a black male teacher in the America teacher workforce. But having to go back during this integrated time has really been hard, especially on my students, because now a lot of teachers, especially those in rural counties, such as the one that I'm in, they teach, a lot of the ones that teach are over the age of 50 and 60, which is a more vulnerable age for the virus. So folks like me who are healthy enough to go back are having to teach two grades, and that's hard because we're not seeing all of our students at one time. We're having to see half of them on Monday and half and Tuesday, and then the other half is on Thursday, Friday, and then the ones that we're not seeing, we have to teach them virtually. I mean, it's just a lot. So professionally, it has just been extremely tedious. It has just been extremely stressful. And we're trying to figure out how do we do equitable grading and give equitable work and make sure we're doing things the right way by the students, because again, rural broadband continues to be an issue in rural America. COVID could have been prevented the same way H1N1 was prevented from being a whole worldwide pandemic when President Obama and Vice President Biden heard of what was going on in Ebola. When they heard of these cases, they immediately put a stop to it. Of course, there were some lives lost, but not even close to nearly as many lives that have been lost, such as been the case with COVID under this administration. And Trump is on record for saying he wanted to play it down. He's known for months before we even went into quarantine across the nation, and yet he said nothing. And so one thing I think that could have been handled a lot better was opening your mouth and saying something. That's number one. Number two, listening to experts. You don't know it all. Number three, actually attending briefings and then taking the necessary steps to prevent lives being lost. Because even if COVID was to happen and lives were to have been lost, we wouldn't have had to have as many lost. And that is something that I think this administration has significantly failed at.